Hey, what up, Street Dogs? Eric here from the Eric Kim blog. So, I want to share with you a sentiment from my best friend Steve Jobs. The basic notion is this: stay hungry, stay foolish. So, what does stay hungry, stay foolish mean? Stay hungry, stay foolish could mean a lot of different things, but for me, it can. I'll just share just my personal thoughts. So, first and foremost, I actually wonder when people say stay hungry, stay foolish, can we use this actually as a quite literal thing where it's like, it is actually, we literally mean to say physically stay hungry and physically be foolish? Because, you know, it tends to be more of a metaphorical thing, right? It's like, if you're hungry, then you just keep striving for more in order to eat. And once you're no longer hungry, like you've eaten a lot of food, you just take a food coma and you just end up, you know, becoming fat or whatever. And then staying foolish, foolishness is interesting because we're actually taught that foolishness is a bad thing, is that, you know, foolish people are to be despised, right? But, you know, maybe staying foolish, staying hungry, this might actually be the, you know, a very physiological, practical thing. So what does it mean to stay hungry? I've taken this to a very literal means, which means I follow intermittent fasting. I've done it the last 5 years. I swear by it. I don't eat breakfast, early, and lunch. I usually break my fast at around like 5, 6, 7, 8 p.m., sometimes 10 p.m., sometimes 11 p.m. And throughout the day, I just drink a lot of water, drink a lot of coffee, and walk around a lot, bask in the sun. And if I'm like super hungry and like I'm dying, then I'll probably do an earlier lunch around like 2 or 3. But this is actually what I found that's interesting. So if you think about this notion, stay hungry, stay foolish. So let's just break down the stay hungry. What does it mean to stay hungry? It literally means to stay hungry. Is that like what motivates us to move or to do anything? I think it's actually, we should interpret as literal hunger. So why do humans move? So the word motivation comes from the notion of movement. So to be motivated is literally just to move. So what motivates us to move? Hunger. So humans, you know, we need food in order to survive. And what biologically motivates us to seek food? It's hunger, right? And so the notion that you wake up and then you eat a granola bar and then go into work makes no sense from a biological signaling mechanism thing. And the biggest problem is that people treat the human body like a car, where it's like, yo, and put in gas and then the car will run. But a human is an insanely complex biological organism. We're not mechanical cars. So this the analogy of using a car, it's like, this food is fuel for you. Like it actually makes no sense. I actually think it's a bad one too, because you know, these fitness companies want to sell you all these products, and you know, you want to keep our car running, which is like, you know, people think is the body. So obviously you have to consume fuel before you work out, but I've proven that, you know, you could power lift while fasting and still be super duper strong. So staying hungry, because what happens after you eat, you fall into food coma and you have no more motivation to move. So hunger, like one of my basic thoughts is hunger motivates us to move. But actually, even thinking beyond that, it's not even necessarily hunger, it's the desire for more resources. Because food is like a metaphor for like increased nutrition and nutrients to make us more stronger and powerful. And so even now, because I'm like really into powerlifting or whatever, my ultimate goal is for me to increase my 1 rep max indefinitely, and obviously I like to increase my muscle mass as well. So I think right now I'm like 175 pounds, and if one day I could become 200 pounds at 10% body fat, that'd be super duper dope. If I don't, it's not really a big deal either. And so the way I see food now is I see food as something that could augment my physical power and also my muscular mass. That's the way I see food. And I kind of like this because hunger then maybe be the desire to consume more meat or highly nutritious things in order to become more powerful. So it's not even hunger for hunger's sake, it's more of like the desire to become more powerful. So that's maybe my basic theory. And once again, like, I think if you want to work at the highest level, peak intensity, or to be the most creatively productive or strong or whatever, I really, really do genuinely believe that during the day before nightfall, don't eat no food. So that's a good way to stay hungry. So if during the day you are physically hungry and you stay hungry, this is a good way for you to be motivated for more, right? So that's the first thing. So stay foolish. I kind of like this notion of foolishness because, I mean, maybe if we look at, it might not even be foolish. Maybe it might be like curious or naive, or, I mean, foolish ain't bad either too, because like adults create all these kind of notions of like, oh, that's foolish, that's a good idea, that's a bad idea, be safe, blah blah. And it's bad too because it's very anti-childlike, because children are very foolish, they're very curious, they're very naive, they're very childlike, right? So it might even be like something like, stay hungry, stay childish. I don't know, but it doesn't have the same ring. And I really do think that the ultimate creator is a child. A child has no inhibitions, they have no preconceived notions, they have the most fun. I've never seen a depressed child ever, and all children that I've met are all creatively productive, happy, great individuals, and then somehow society sucks the soul out of them as they get older. It's actually really sad. Like, who knows, maybe in the future they'll look at our modern educational institutions like, yo, that was just straight up like child cruelty. Who knows? But anyways, so staying foolish, it means, like, even now whenever I make these YouTube videos, I try not to think so much like, yo, have I done this before or not? Because children don't think about that. It's like, yo, yesterday I played on the monkey bars, I'm not gonna do that today because I'm just sort of repeating myself. It's like, yo, that seems like a bad sentiment. Or even the thoughts like, oh, I drank coffee yesterday, I shouldn't drink coffee today. It's kind of not a good one either. So every time I make anything, my new strategy is treat it like it's the first time I've ever done it, and I just have fun. Jay-Z has a nice quote, is like, treat your first like your last and your last like your first. So it's kind of a combination of memento mori, remember that you're gonna die and you will die, but also memento vivere, which means remember to live, that you gotta do stuff. And doing stuff is fun. And this is also another funny thing too, is I don't think that people realize humans like to do stuff. We don't want to become like the people in WALL-E who just sit in the chairs and sip soda all day. We kind of like to do stuff. We don't just want things to be done onto us, we want to do onto others. Like, we want to interact with other humans, affect them, impact them, and so forth. And really then it does seem that like some sort of foolishness and naivete is necessary. If you have too much information or knowledge, you end up, like, a lot of people end up falling to nihilism, end up doing nothing, right? So once again, think about this notion, stay hungry, stay foolish. Highly recommend reading the Steve Jobs biography by Walter Isaacson. I probably read it front to back, like maybe like 6 times. I might actually give it another reread soon. The ultimate notion is this: physiologically stay hungry, maybe get into intermittent fasting, or you can use it as a metaphor, always be hungry for more, and stay foolish, kind of fuck around, don't take things too seriously, and just have fun and become the ultimate child.